Hello, sports fans. It is Monday, November the 9th, year 2015. And as always, a lot to get to in the sports world, so let's get it going right now. Great to be back with you guys. Hope you guys are doing well and you enjoyed the games over the weekend. I was 9-3 against the spread in the NFL over the weekend, so I had a really good week. I am up to 12 games over 500 against the spread in the NFL, and that's picking each and every game. So without further ado, let's get to our Week 10 picks in the NFL in the league where they play for pay. And let's get it going right now. And let's start with the Thursday night game. And this is a very interesting game. Let's go to the Meadowlands in New Jersey, not too far from here, where the New York Jets are -3 over the Buffalo Bills. Jets up to 5-3 as they beat Jacksonville yesterday. Buffalo up to 4-4 as they laid it on Miami up in Buffalo yesterday. Very, very interesting game here. This game has wild card implications. Rex Ryan going back to the Meadowlands to face his old team. Very, very interesting game. Listen, this is a game I would not bet. I'm going to pick it for you for the show, but I would not bet this game. I think it could go either way. I'm going to stick with what I always say with these Thursday night games. The home team has a major advantage. I mean, you play yesterday. Today you're kind of recovering. Tuesday you kind of start your preparation. And if you're playing on Thursday and you're the road team, you got to travel on Wednesday. So it's a very short week for the road team to get prepared for this game. I think the Jets are going to be really up for this game going up against Rex Ryan. The Jets are home. Jets defense hasn't played that great the last couple of weeks. I think they're going to play better here on the short week at home. Buffalo can be up and down sometimes. You never know what you're getting from Buffalo. Fitzpatrick is playing for the Jets. He played yesterday despite the injury. I think it's a very close game. I think it's a razor close game. But I'm going to pick the Jets here, -3 over Buffalo. Maybe the Jets win by like 4 points. I think the Jets are going to be really fired up to go against Rex Ryan. And like I said, I like taking the home teams on Thursday. These road teams have a major disadvantage when you got to travel on Wednesday. You only have like a day to prepare for these games. I'll take the Jets in a very tough game. That's pick number 1. Pick number 2, let's go to the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field where the Green Bay Packers are -11 against the Detroit Lions. All of a sudden, Green Bay has fallen on hard times. They've lost 2 straight. They're down to 6-2. They're now tied with the Vikings for the division. Green Bay loses to Carolina yesterday, gives up 37 points doing it. Green Bay tried to rally late but fell a little short. Green Bay's got some issues. Now listen, I still think Green Bay is a playoff team, but they have some issues. They've lost 2 straight, but here comes Detroit. This is perfect for Green Bay. They need a Detroit game in the worst way. Detroit is awful. They have 1 win. They have no defense. This is a perfect game for Green Bay to start feeling better about themselves. Green Bay will lay it on Detroit this week. Detroit is not a good team. They can't stop anyone. I think Green Bay gets well this week, ends their 2-game losing streak, and they just pound Detroit in the frozen tundra. I like Green Bay -11. That's pick number 2. Pick number 3, let's go down to Tampa Bay, where the Dallas Cowboys are -1 against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Dallas 2-6 had the heartbreaking loss to the Eagles in overtime last night. Dallas really needed that game. 2-6. This is going to be really hard for Dallas to come back. I mean, if they ever got Romo back, I think they can make a run. But from 2-6, I mean, that's a hard position to come back from. I know the division isn't all that great, but Dallas is just digging themselves a big hole here. Tampa Bay 3-5. Lost to the Giants yesterday, 32-18, in a game that was closer than the score indicated. Tampa Bay has been playing hard. I'm going to take Dallas here. I mean, it's now or never for Dallas. I mean, you can't obviously go to 2-7. Dallas basically has to win most of their games now. I mean, maybe they can lose 1 more. Maybe they can win this division at 9-7, and that's a maybe. They can't afford many losses. I think Tampa Bay is a team they can handle. I think this is an even type game. I think Dallas can handle this team, and they have to do it now, Dallas. You get up to 3-6, maybe you got a miracle running. You're 2-7, you're just about done. I say Dallas finally gets a win here. I'll take Dallas -1 down in Tampa Bay. I expect a lot of Cowboy fans down there in Western Florida. All right, so that's pick number 3. Pick number 4, let's go to Tennessee, where the Carolina Panthers are -5 against the Tennessee Titans. Carolina remains undefeated. Like I just said, they beat Green Bay. Carolina continues to impress. They find new and creative ways to win each and every week. They are very, very gutty. Tennessee had their second win of the year. I was shocked by this game. They went into the Superdome and beat the Saints. Nice job by Tennessee. I'll get to the Saints in a second. I got to go with Carolina here, though. Come on, they're undefeated. The spread's only 5. I know Tennessee won yesterday, but I can't trust Tennessee. I just can't. I can trust Carolina. I know their defense is going to come to play. Cam Newton's going to make his usual plays. They got the good, solid running game. Tennessee, despite their win yesterday, I'm not ready to jump on their bandwagon. I'll take Carolina -5 down in Nashville. That's pick number 4. Pick number 5. Let's go to St. Louis, where the St. Louis Rams are -8 against the Chicago Bears. St. Louis is 4-4, had the heartbreaking loss to Minnesota in overtime yesterday. Chicago, of course, plays tonight in San Diego. You gotta like St. Louis here. Listen, the NFC is very tough. St. Louis is 4-4. If they have any hopes of making the playoffs, gotta start making a run now. Gotta beat a bad Bear team at home, and the Bears are on a short week. Bears go, have to play in San Diego tonight, then they got to go home, then go to St. Louis. Chicago's not a good team at all. They don't have a good defense. St. Louis, this is a must win for you. I think St. Louis will get the job done at home. I like St. Louis -8 against the Bears in St. Louis. That's pick number 5. Pick number 6, let's go to Washington, where the New Orleans Saints are -2 over the Washington Redskins. New Orleans down to 4-5 after they lost at home to Tennessee yesterday. To me, this was the worst loss of the day by any team. How in the world did the Saints lose at home to Tennessee? The Saints looked better the last few weeks. I thought they were going to win this game easily. They got off to a nice start. What in the world were the Saints doing? They reverted back to their own old form. Now, it was a terrible loss by New Orleans, a deplorable loss by New Orleans. You cannot lose to Tennessee in your own building. Tennessee hadn't won a game since week 1. That was a terrible loss by New Orleans. Washington 3-5, lost to New England. No surprise there. Listen, I don't like Washington's coach at all. The Gruden that coaches Washington is not the Gruden you'll see tonight on Monday Night Football. Those two Grudens are very different. I mean, the Gruden that used to coach Oakland and Tampa Bay, he could coach. This Gruden that coaches Washington is not a good coach. Washington, still problems at quarterback, all sorts of injuries. I mean, this is another game. I don't know where to go here. I'll go with New Orleans just because I trust Breeze and the coach more than I trust, Cousins and Gruden for Washington. I can't trust Washington. They can't get out of their own way. I didn't love what the Saints did yesterday, but I got to pick them here. I mean, this is another game I'd stay away from, but I'll take New Orleans -2 in Washington. I still can't believe the Saints lost to Tennessee at home yesterday. Awful. So the Saints there. Pick number 7. Let's go to Philadelphia, where the Philadelphia Eagles are -5.5 against the Miami Dolphins. Philadelphia up to 4-4. They beat Dallas in overtime. I thought they were going to let this game slip away, but they did respond and win. Philadelphia is right there now with the Giants battling for the division. Miami down to 3-5. Got bombed by Buffalo. Miami, after looking good for a couple games, has now looked bad for a couple games. Gotta like Philadelphia here. Have to like them. Home, battling for the division. Miami hasn't looked good the last 2 weeks. They got no weight. Got to go with the Eagles here. I'll take the Eagles at home, -5.5 against the Dolphins. That's pick number 7. Pick number 8. Let's go to the Steel City, where Pittsburgh is at home against Cleveland. This game is off the board right now. It looks like Roethlisberger will be out. He hurt his foot yesterday. They're saying he's going to be out a week or 2. So expect Roethlisberger not to play. I guess Cleveland's still going with Manziel. Steelers are 5-4 as they beat Oakland yesterday in a very, very close game. Steelers, of course, battling for the wild card. Cleveland down to 2-7. They lost to Cincinnati on Thursday night. Cleveland, to me, can only play 2-3 quarters. Once they get to the fourth quarter, they fall apart. I got to go with the Steelers here. I don't know what the spread's going to be, but I think the Steelers, even with their backup quarterback, win. The Browns just cannot get out of their own way, and they can't play 4 quarters. They're good for maybe 2-3 quarters, but they can't play a complete game. I'll take the Steelers there. That's pick number 8. Pick number 9. Let's go to Baltimore, where the Baltimore Ravens are -6 against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Baltimore had the week off. They are having a miserable season. Jacksonville, their usual season, they're 2-6, lost to the Jets yesterday. I mean, this is another mess of a game. I mean, this is just a brutal game. I mean, I don't know where to go here. I guess I'll lean towards Baltimore because they're home, but this is another game I'd stay away from. This is a brutal game. This is one of the worst games of the docket this week. I mean, this is just awful. Just an awful football game. I'll lean towards Baltimore, but I don't love it, so I'll take Baltimore there. That's pick number 9. Pick number 10, let's go out to Oakland, where the Minnesota Vikings and the Oakland Raiders are pick'em. Minnesota, a very impressive 6-2. They are tied with Green Bay for the division. Beat St. Louis in overtime. Bridgewater did leave with a concussion, so he's going to be questionable this week. Oakland 4-4 had the heartbreaking loss to Pittsburgh. Being Bridgewater is going to be questionable with this concussion. Minnesota's going on the road. Oakland, their last few home games, has played very well. I'm going to take a chance and take Oakland here. I haven't picked against Minnesota much this year, and I've won with Minnesota a lot, but I'm going to take Oakland. The last couple times I've watched Oakland at home, they've been very explosive. I think off the tough loss, they're going to be very angry. Minnesota, you don't know who you're getting at quarterback this week. I'm going to take a chance here. I'll take Oakland at home. Pick them over the Vikings in a very, very competitive game. Minnesota doing some nice things, and Oakland is definitely improving. So that's pick number 10. Pick number 11, let's go back to the Meadowlands in New Jersey, not too far from here, where the New England Patriots are -7 against the New York Giants. New England, of course, 8-0. They are perfect. They beat Washington yesterday. We'll keep an eye on the New England running back. He's getting an MRI today. We'll see how serious that injury is. Giants are 5-4. They're leading their division. They get Pierre-Paul back. They beat Tampa Bay yesterday. I don't love the Giant defense, and I love the New England offense. So I think New England is going to score early and often. I do not like the Giant defense at all. I know they got Pierre-Paul back, but I think New England is going to be able to score a lot of points in this game. I don't think the Giants can keep up with them. I know the game is in the Meadowlands. These two teams have a lot of history. The Giants have upset the Patriots in the past. I'm going to go with New England here. I think New England just a little too much firepower. I like New England -7 against the Giants. That's pick number 11. Pick number 12, let's go to Denver, where the Denver Broncos are -6.5 against the Kansas City Chiefs. Chiefs had the week off. Denver finally took their first loss after looking so good against Green Bay last week. Indianapolis really moved the ball well against Denver. That's the first time the Denver defense did not play well. Listen, they were due for a loss. They played so well all year, but Indianapolis really moved the ball well against Denver. I think Denver was reading their press clippings when everyone was saying this is the 1985 Bears defense. Not so fast. Colts moved the ball up and down the field. Colts upset Denver. I think Denver is going to turn around at home here and respond in a big way. I know the Chiefs have won a couple in a row. I still don't trust them. I think Denver's defense back at home is going to be angry that they didn't play well against the Colts. I like Denver at home -6.5 against the Chiefs. That's pick number 12. Pick number 13. Let's go to the Sunday night game, and this is a doozy where the Seattle Seahawks are at home -2.5 against the Arizona Cardinals. Both teams coming off a bye. Arizona has a 2-game lead in the division. This is a huge, huge game as far as who's going to win this division. Being Seattle's 2 games behind, the spread's only 2.5, and they're at home. I have to take Seattle here. I have to take Seattle. I know it's a tough, tough game. I got to think Seattle is going to respond here, win the game, cut that Arizona lead to 1 game in the division. The spread's only 2.5. I don't like picking against Seattle at home. This is a must-win for Seattle if they have any hopes of winning the division, and that is a must-watch game on Sunday night. And as far as the Monday night game, the Cincinnati Bengals are at home, -11 against the Houston Texans. Houston coming off a bye week. Listen, I don't love Houston this year at all. I know they're not too far behind the Colts for that division, but I don't like Houston at all. Cincinnati looks like a solid team. They're undefeated, blew out the Browns in the second half. Cincinnati's definitely a contender. We'll see about Dalton in the playoffs. Cincinnati never loses at home. They will handle this mediocre Houston team. I like Cincinnati -11 over Houston. That is pick number 14. And you have 4 teams with a bye, so you have 2 games that are off this week. You have Atlanta, they have a bye. Atlanta is really stumbling and bumbling. What happened to Atlanta the last month? I mean, they lost to San Francisco with Gabbert yesterday at quarterback. And what was the Atlanta coach doing late in this game? San Francisco is winning 17-13. About 3 minutes to go. Atlanta has a 4th and goal from the 1, and they kicked a field goal. What in the world were they doing there? And then they never got the ball back. San Francisco ran out the clock. What was Atlanta doing? Atlanta, terrible the last month. Their offense has been terrible. The coaching's been terrible. They still have a decent record, Atlanta, but the last month of the season's been awful for Atlanta, and they got off to a hot start. They have a bye. Indianapolis has a bye coming off the huge win against Denver. San Diego has a bye. We'll see how they play tonight. And San Francisco has a bye after they won yesterday. So that's where you are in your NFL for week number 10. Hard to believe we're in week 10 of the NFL. Like I said, I am 12 games over 500 against the spread, picking each and every game. As far as the college football, as believe it or not, we head into week 11. I'm telling you, how fast does college football go by? By the time you get to Thanksgiving weekend and all those rivalry games are played, the regular season in college football is basically over. Then you get to your conference championship games and your bowl games. We have just a few weeks left in the regular season of college football. I mean, it's unbelievable how fast college football goes by as we're starting to wind down, starting to get a clearer picture of who's got a shot for this Final Four playoff. As far as over the weekend, Alabama laid it on LSU. The game was close for a half, but Alabama was very dominant in the second half of this game. Both sides of the ball. Alabama peaking at the right time. Didn't like the way LSU's defense played in this game, and Alabama shut down that great LSU running back. Alabama, very, very serious contender right now. Clemson beat Florida State. You'd expect Clemson to be in the Final Four playoff. They have a few easy games to go. They'll probably play North Carolina, who's a decent team in the ACC championship game, but you expect Clemson to be there in the end. Ohio State won. Their quarterback was out. They'll get him back this week. Baylor won despite having their quarterback out for the year. Now, Baylor's got a lot of tough games going forward. We'll see how the young quarterback plays in the weeks ahead. How about Oklahoma State just routed TCU? Oklahoma State's undefeated. Keep an eye on them. Michigan State lost to Nebraska. It was an awful loss. It was also a bad call in that game against Michigan State. Michigan State's defense did not play well in this game. Nebraska rallied late. Michigan State, very bad loss. This should knock them out of the Final Four playoff. Iowa and Houston remain undefeated. And Memphis lost to Navy. Navy kind of blew them out, so I was a little surprised about that. So that was your college football over the weekend. It hasn't been a great year in college football. There hasn't been all that many great games. There are some big games coming up, so I hope it picks up. And, of course, you got the Final Four playoff. Me with college football, I've been kind of win one, lose one. I've been kind of running around 500. I've been kind of up and down, win one, lose one, win one, lose one. That's how my season's gone in college football. Can't get on any consistent run in college football. But anyway, here are my picks for Week 11 in college football. And I have 9 picks for you. And let's get to it right now. Pick number 1. Let's go to Illinois, where Ohio State is minus 16 against Illinois. Of course, Ohio State is undefeated. They get their quarterback back this week off suspension. Illinois is a decent team. They're 5-4, but they're not in Ohio State's league. They're just not. Ohio State getting their quarterback back. Ohio State now really has to make a statement going forward that they want to get into this Final Four playoff, that they're peaking at the right time. I think Ohio State is going to lay it on Illinois this week. I think you're going to see Ohio State really flex their muscle. Pick number 1, Ohio State minus 16 at Illinois. Pick number 2, let's go out to San Diego, where the San Diego State Aztecs are minus 23 against Wyoming. San Diego State is 6-3, and they have won 5 in a row, so they are doing a nice job. Wyoming is 1-9, and they are awful. So I'm taking San Diego State here in a rout. I mean, a 6-3 team that's won 5 in a row against a 1-9 team that's going nowhere. San Diego State's pick number 2. Pick number 3. Let's go down to the Navy, where Navy is minus 21 against SMU. Navy is 7-1 this year and just blew out undefeated Memphis. SMU is 1-8 and has lost 7 in a row. Who do you think I'm picking in this game? I'll take Navy minus 21 over SMU. That's pick number 3. Pick number 4. Let's go up to Berkeley, where Cal is at home minus 20 against Oregon State. Cal is 5-4. They've kind of been stumbling and bumbling lately. Oregon State is an awful team. They're 2-7. They've lost 5 in a row. Their quarterback is out. They lost 41-0 in UCLA. I think this is a game where Cal is going to rout Oregon State at home. Look for Cal's offense to get healthy in this game. I like Cal minus 20 against Oregon State up in Berkeley. That's pick number 4. Pick number 5, let's go to Lubbock, where Texas Tech is at home, minus 5.5 against Kansas State. Texas Tech is 5-5. They need at least one more win to get to a bowl game, so this is a very important game for Texas Tech. Kansas State is 3-5. They've lost 5 in a row. Quarterback is out. This is not one of Bill Snyder's better teams. Kansas State, I've watched them a bunch this year. They're not any good. They can't stop anyone. Texas Tech scores a lot of points, especially at home. Texas Tech really needs this game to get to a bowl game. Look for Texas Tech to score a bundle of points and beat Kansas State. I like Texas Tech at home, minus 5.5 against Kansas State. That's pick number 5. Pick number 6, let's go out to Tucson, where Utah is minus 5 against Arizona. Utah 8-1. Them and Stanford are the two teams alive in the Pac-12 for the Final Four playoff. Utah's got to win out and probably get some help. Arizona is 5-5. They've lost 3 straight, and they are not looking good at all. I got to go with Utah here. This is a must-win for Utah. Arizona's defense is not any good. I like Utah minus 5 against Arizona in the desert. That's pick number 6. Pick number 7, let's go to Knoxville, where Tennessee is minus 40 against North Texas. Tennessee is 5-4. They're 1 win away from a bowl. North Texas is 1-8. They're an awful team, and they just lost 56-13 to Louisiana Tech. This is a game where Tennessee should win 70-7. Look for Tennessee to pour it on a bad North Texas team. I like Tennessee at home minus 40 against North Texas. That's pick number 7. Pick number 8. Let's go to Fort Collins, where Colorado State is at home, minus 7 against UNLV. Colorado State is 4-5. This is their last home game of the year. UNLV is 3-6. Listen, being it's the last home game for Colorado State, and they really need to get on a run to get to a bowl, I think they can handle this bad UNLV team. I know the records are kind of similar, 4-5 and 3-6, but Colorado State's still alive for a bowl, and this is their last home game. I think that's going to mean something. I think Colorado State wins this game. I like Colorado State at home, minus 7 against UNLV in Fort Collins. And finally, pick number 9. Let's go to Columbia, Missouri, where BYU is minus 3 against Mizzou. BYU is 7-2. They've won 5 in a row. They're having a really nice year despite losing their quarterback. Missouri is 4-5. They've lost 4 in a row. They lost their quarterback, and now you got all this tension on campus where the players are threatening to sit out. Listen, I think if none of that stuff was going on campus, I'd still take BYU. But with all these distractions and everything going on the Missouri campus, I don't like Missouri at all. Their offense can't move the ball from here to there. BYU is a good, solid team. I like BYU minus 3 in Mizzou. That is pick number 9. So those are my 9 picks in college football. Now, 3 games I did not pick that are the bigger games of the weekend that you want to keep an eye on. Oregon is at Stanford. That's a very important game as far as the Pac-12. Stanford really needs to win the rest of their games to have any hope of getting to that Final Four playoff. Remember, Stanford lost their first game to Northwestern, has been on a real roll since. Can't afford any slip-ups. Play Oregon on the farm. That's a game you want to keep an eye on. Alabama at Mississippi State. Alabama is on a roll now. Mississippi State is a decent team. Alabama coming off the big high against LSU. How are they going to play now with all those cowbells ringing in Starkville? I'd expect Alabama to get through, but this is an interesting game. You want to keep an eye on this game. And then the big game of the weekend, this is where College Game Day is. Baylor at home with the young backup quarterback against Oklahoma. Baylor undefeated. They have their sights set on the Final Four playoff. All Baylor's tough games are coming up now. They got to win them all. Remember, the Big 12 doesn't have a championship game. Oklahoma has 1 loss. Remember, they had that inexplicable loss to Texas. Oklahoma's got to win out. They probably need some help. This is a very, very interesting game. You want to see how that young Baylor quarterback plays. Oklahoma can't afford any more losses. Oklahoma's been playing well since they lost to Texas. Very interesting game. That is the game of the day. That is where College Game Day is. So you might want to keep an eye on that game for sure. So you got some games in college football. I mean, it's not a great week in college football, but you do have a few to keep an eye on. Of course, you have your NHL hockey and your NBA. I'll tell you, those seasons go on forever. What do those seasons go on till June? I mean, I've been watching a little NHL, a little NBA, but they go on forever. College basketball is getting going, so you got a lot of stuff going on. Of course, we got the awful Monday night game tonight. San Diego at home against Chicago. That's one of the worst Monday night games ever. I don't know who's going to win that game. I guess I'd go with San Diego. Rivers will probably throw 85 passes in that game. So an awful Monday night game tonight. Anyway, you guys are all caught up. You guys are all set. You have your NFL picks for Week 10. You have your college picks for Week 11. You guys, thanks as always for the support. Thanks for all the great messages. You guys stay happy, healthy, and safe. Pick a lot of winners. Make a lot of money. I'll talk to you guys soon. Take care.